Have you ever heard that you need to mono everything below 150 Hz? Well, that's completely wrong. And trust me, I know because I made that mistake for years. Your tracks are sounding thin and narrow because you're probably removing way too much stereo information. For years, I followed the classic advice: mono everything below 150 Hz to avoid phase issues. Some producers said 90 Hz, others said 120 Hz. Everyone had a different number, but they all agreed. Cut the stereo, keep it safe. So that's what I did. I'd slap a mid-side EQ on my master chain and mono everything below 150 Hz. But then my tracks sounded so thin and narrow compared to big artists, and I couldn't figure out why their music sounded so wide and full, while mine felt like it was coming through a cardboard tube. The breakthrough came around 7 years into my journey, when I discovered the 3 most important frequencies of bass: the fundamental, the octave, and the fifth. That's when I realized something crucial. C2 at 65.41 Hz is the highest possible fundamental frequency. Think about it. If you're playing any bass note, the fundamental will always be C2 or below. Anything above C2, that's octave range, second harmonic territory. And here's the key: only the fundamental needs to be in mono. I started analyzing big artist tracks and confirmed it. They weren't monoing everything below 150 Hz. Instead, they were leaving the octaves and harmonics in beautiful wide stereo. So here's why this works. Fundamental frequencies are too low for us to actually hear as distinct pitches. At those frequencies, we're feeling vibrations more than hearing notes. It sounds more like a rumble than a specific tone. Since we can't perceive stereo information at these extremely low frequencies anyway, there's no musical benefit to keeping them in stereo. But there are serious downsides: phase cancellation, weak mono compatibility, and potential clashing with your kick, since both elements live in that fundamental range. But the octave above? That's where we start to perceive actual pitch and stereo width. Monoing frequencies like 98 Hz, 130 Hz, and 147 Hz, you're destroying the stereo information that actually contributes to your track's width and fullness. So here's my exact process. First, I check what note my bass is playing. If it's playing F, then the fundamental is F1 at 43.65 Hz. So I set my mono cutoff around 50 Hz, slightly above the fundamental to give myself some safe room. For a G bass, the fundamental is G1 at 49 Hz, so I'll set the cutoff around 55 Hz. The key is targeting just above the specific fundamental, not using some arbitrary number like 150 Hz that destroys half your low-mid content. I usually add a few Hertz buffer because of Q factor considerations. You want to make sure you're fully capturing that fundamental without accidentally monoing the octave above it. Once I stopped over monoing, my tracks transformed. Suddenly they had that wide, full low end I'd been chasing for years. The bass felt powerful but also spacious. No more cardboard tube sound. And the best part? No phase issues. By targeting only the actual fundamental frequencies, I solved the mono compatibility problems without sacrificing the musical content that makes tracks sound wide and professional. But here's something even harder than getting your bass stereo information right: making kicks for specific genres. And psytrance kicks are one of the hardest to make in all of electronic music. So, do you want to know the exact scientific formula that took me 9 years to crack? Then hit subscribe, because next time I'm revealing how to make pro psytrance kicks that even big artists haven't figured out.